welcome today. We're interviewing Bill Brennan, who is running from the 6th Ward in the Township of Wayne for Municipal Council. Before our interview today, Bill and I had a chance to speak a little bit, and I'd like him to tell you a little bit about himself and some of the issues that we discussed before taping today. So Bill, welcome. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Ray. I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Would you tell us a little bit about you, who is Bill Brennan, and why is he running for council in Wayne?
Sure. You gave everybody my name. I'm Bill Brennan. I live in the Pines Lake section of Wayne, and that's the 6th Ward. I have 2 boys, ages 8 and 10. They both go to Pines Lake School. And I'm recently retired from the fire department in Teaneck, where I serve as a professional firefighter. And I'm now at school, where I've finished my associate's degree in fire science, and in the spring I should have a bachelor's degree in social science.
Before we started the interview, we talked a little bit, and you were telling me about your history and involvement with open space. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, absolutely. A little more than 10 years ago, there was some legislation that was in its infancy stage. We weren't sure whether or not it was going to pass at the county level, and that's the Open Space Preservation Trust Fund. And I was an active participant in pushing that and making sure that Passaic County created an Open Space Trust Fund. And once the legislation was passed, I was a charter member of the Passaic County Open Space Trust Fund Committee, a committee which, by the way, has directed millions and millions of dollars to the Township of Wayne for the preservation of open space since its inception. Now, that legislation was opposed when there was a majority on the Freeholder Board of Republicans on the County Freeholder Board. When the Democrats took over, became a majority on the County Freeholder Board, that legislation was passed. I became a committee member, and Wayne started preserving property through the Passaic County Open Space Trust Fund, something I'm very proud of.
That's a nice segue for me, because you also said that in general, environmental issues are something that are very important to you, and that you'd like to make an impact on the council in this area. What exactly do you propose to do with the environmental issues?
Well, I think the environmental issues are more than just environmental issues. You have to put it in the context of we're at war right now, and being at war with American citizens in Iraq and Wayne residents in Iraq serving our country, fighting over foreign oil, is absurd to me when there's technology available and opportunity available that we could harness renewable energy and achieve energy independence. And the reason I'm saying that we need to do that at the local level is because if we don't do it locally, it's never going to happen nationally. When the people lead, the leaders will follow. And it upsets me that the Township of Wayne is currently letting opportunity upon opportunity pass to engage in meaningful preservation of energy or conservation of energy and incorporation of renewable energy resources into our municipal government.
So you would be a voice for the environment on the council?
Yes. I think that the council, there's a problem with the council right now, and that problem is that the party boss for Passaic County also happens to be the mayor, and the council itself happens to be comprised, 8 out of the 9 council members are a member of the Republican Party. That kind of organization lends itself to groupthink. If you are beholden to the party boss, you certainly aren't going to oppose the party boss. You certainly aren't going to express an opinion in opposite of what the party boss is advocating. An example of that is this idea that we're going to bring natural gas pipelines to our high schools so that we can open a power generating facility adjacent to the police station and the high school. I think that if you had an independent voice on the council, there'd be some questions raised. Some of those questions raised would include, is it a good idea to bring hundreds of thousands of cubic feet of combustible natural gas to the high school students and to our public safety complex? I don't think it's a good idea. Is it a good idea to incorporate another non-renewable source? Natural gas is not renewable. It's a finite material. It is combustible. The byproducts of combustion are greenhouse gases. The only difference with this idea is we're now going to expose residents of Wayne to the byproducts of combustion as opposed to wherever it's coming from now and being transmitted to an electric line. I think just the money that was spent on the study would have been better spent on solar panels on those very facilities. could have bought a lot of solar panels under the clean energy program right now with the money that was spent on the study. And all we've done is study it and study it and study it, and we've done nothing about solving it. And I want to take some action. Tired of talk.
And there appears to be within the city some controversy over land use. This has been going on for a long time. And again, you had indicated that that was an area where you'd like to make an impact.
Absolutely.
Perhaps you could discuss what some of your ideas are in that area.
Well, the first thing I would do would be raise objections to putting people in the real estate business on the planning board or the zoning board. I think when you have a profit motive in your work, you should recuse yourself from making decisions involving land use. And I think that the decisions that have been made involving land use in Wayne have been poor. We have dense developments sprinkled throughout the town where the quality of life is diminishing, and they're just bringing more traffic and creating higher taxes for everyone and to benefit a very few. And when you're a developer and you want to put 10 houses where 5 belong, you shouldn't get a green light because the people that you're appealing to have the same interest as you. Now, along those lines, it ties into the environmental issue, and it ties into the land use issue, and it ties into the monolithic party boss, one-party system that we have in this town. An example in my ward of poor land use decisions was the decision not to preserve attractive open space on Colfax Avenue. Now, had that property been bought and preserved for open space when it was available, we would have spent less than we've already spent in litigation with the House of Worship that is trying to erect a new facility there. Now, that was an opportunity to protect a natural area of open space, to avoid further drainage issues, because we are putting macadam over every inch of this town. And we are not going to get any commercial rateable out of what's being built there. We are going to get traffic, and we are going to get drainage issues, and we've lost the opportunity to preserve that property. Now, had one person, one voice of reason said, there is attractive land here in a residential neighborhood that we can preserve at a relatively low cost, potentially that voice of reason could have convinced this one-party system that it would be better to spend the money now on preservation than to wait and spend it later on litigation, which may or may not be successful.
Well, good. Well, thank you very much for coming in today. We have about 20 seconds left. If there's anything you'd like to address to your fellow residents in Ward 6, why don't you take this remaining time and go ahead and do that?
Well, you know, the issues that are near and dear to me aren't the only issues that are out there. I mean, when constituents come to me, or potential constituents come to me, and tell me that living on Pines Lake Drive, they're upset with the excessive speed of vehicles passing their homes, you know, first inquiry is, well, what did you do? And what I find is that my opponent has actually told people that nothing is going to happen until someone gets killed. And I personally, as somebody who's spent a lifetime in public safety and public service, I find that unacceptable. I think that if there's a safety issue and there's an issue that the constituents and the residents want something done about, you act on it. You know, you do what you can to alleviate the problem instead of doing nothing and saying we have to wait until somebody gets killed. I have lived in Pines Lake for more than 4 years, and I can't point to anything that my opponent has done to make my community a better place to live. And I think that as an elected official, everything you do and every day you do something should be done to make your community a better place to live and make your constituents more comfortable in the way they live. And that's what I intend to do when I get elected.
Well, good. Good luck to you. Thank you for coming in. And we'll see you all next time.
Thanks, man.